So, who am I? Come on in. My name's AmyJune. I work with Book 42. I'm the community lead and I do some site building. In real life, I was a palliative care nurse. I like to geocache. I like to go mushroom hunting, all sorts of things like that. Who are you? You are the community, and you want to give back to Drupal in some way and you don't know how. So you're here to kind of find out, how do I do this? What are some tools? And so we have UX and QA, and what do you do?
I'm just more oversight. They call us analysts, but more or less I deal with system operations and planning.
Nice, so system operations too, and we have a front end in here, we've got some accessibility folks, we have project management, we have HR that ruins everything.
I ruin nothing.
So why should you contribute? Well, Drupal has a thing that says, collaboration rather than competition. We're all in this together, we're all helping each other out. You might not know one piece, but someone else does. So it's really important for the whole community to become involved so everyone can kind of lend their expertise. You gain experience in coding and technical writing. And when you contribute, you learn faster. The more you see the issue queue, the more you see code, the more you see mistakes in the interface, the more you know how you can help. So, and Drupal's open source. So when you improve the code and documentation for open source, you're help sustaining the project, which is really important. If you use open source, you should definitely improve the project. And when you contribute to Drupal.org, you build your own reputation. You get credits, you get contributions, and the more credits and contributions you have, the better you look. Look, hey, I contributed to these projects, I'm doing this stuff. So there's all kinds of reasons to contribute. There's all different ways to contribute. You can test and break code, you can do accessibility audits, you can work on different projects. There's themes and there's modules. You can improve documentation. You can work on translations. There is a ton of translations that can be done. And you can always mentor in the issue queue. So in this session, I'm going to cover some tools of the trade, some basic ones, and then I'm going to do a lightning demo of just the whole process from start to finish. Creating an issue, uploading a patch, creating the patch, and the review process too. So it's you don't have to do every part of it. You can just finding an issue and putting it up is a perfect first step. And then afterward, I'm going to have slides on our website or on the BadCamp websites with my demo notes because I'm going to cowboy it and do a live demo. So, okay. So how do I start my day? I start my day by going to the Drupal issue queue. And I have it set up on my dashboard where I have, I don't know if you know this, on your Drupal.org profile page, you can configure blocks with different things. And so I have what I like to do in the morning. I like to read Drupal Planet. I have my posts in case something happened overnight. It lets me know if something was updated. And then I have issues on the side. And in here, which is nice, in this contributor links, there's links to how you can get involved. I'm not going to go over that in this session. You can do that on your own. But there's links to the different roadmaps of what people are doing, like the accessibility roadmap or the documentation roadmap and other ways you can get involved. So I'm just going to pop open the issue queue so people can see it and get a feel for it. There, you can search. So what it is just a long list of issues that people have created. You can see that Drupal core is on there. There's projects, commerce license, SEO checklist. Now for the purpose of this demonstration, I've already picked out a project to work on. It's one that a developer found an issue in and he assigned me a ticket for it. So I'm just going to, for the sake of the demo, use a project that we maintain. So I'm going to pretend that mine's on this list and I'm going to navigate to that project page. It's admin status. So my developer sent me a ticket this morning, and he could have put the issue up on the queue, but he didn't. He's giving me the whole project. So he said, okay, we have this admin status. And when you go to the hook help page, there's a help section that shows up when you enable the module. And he said it was kind of vague and unclear, and the wording was kind of funky, and can we have it match the wording on the project page? Something easy, let's change the documentation. So there's my ticket. So I go over here and I look at my module, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to see if someone else already has an issue up for it. So I'm going to search the existing issue queue for, let's see, hook help. Because I don't want to work on an issue and put up a patch on something that someone's already fixed. So there's nothing there, so I'm going to be, okay, so let's, I'm going to go back to the project page.
I'm gonna, so the project page, this is a project that you guys have out there. This is something, what do you mean the project
like,
page?
okay, you have a project like views.
Oh, so
So-
views is a project within
Within,
Drupal
it's
site.
well, for Drupal 7, it's a project within where people contribute. It's like a plugin. It extends the services of Drupal
Yep.
core. So this is a module that extends
Okay.
services. You know, they have things like, you know, Twitter feed and,
Okay.
you know, easier
Yep.
SEO checklist, you know, just
Yep.
things that the community have worked on, and these are called contributed modules.
Okay, so this is a
they're
contributed
outside
module.
of Drupal
Gotcha.
core.
Okay.
And as a beginner, it's a little easier to work on the contributed projects
Yeah,
versus Drupal core.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why I picked that too.
Okay, gotcha. So the projects are the contrib module.
Right,
Okay.
right. So we're on our project page. And I don't have this repository on my computer, so I am going to go back to the project page. Come in, hi. So what's nice about the project page is it shows all sorts of information, and one of these tabs is version control. So I'm going to click on version control, and this gives me a link to clone the repository onto my computer. This is the only command line thing we're going to do today, okay? So this is just a link to get the module on my computer so I can work on it. So I'm going to open my terminal. I'm going to navigate to where I want to put the project, and you can put it anywhere. I just have it set up that I have it in a specific spot. And then right here, you take this command, copy it, and that downloads the whole project repository onto your computer. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, oh, you know what? I skipped a whole section on tools. So can we back up and let me talk about tools of the trade for a few minutes? I'm sorry. So tools of the trade. So we're going to talk about a Git Client, I'm going to talk about Redditor, and I'm going to talk about Simply Test Me. So a Git Client, that's basically, there's all sorts of different Git clients. You can download them off the internet. Some are free, some are paid services. We're going to use SmartGet because it is free, so we're just going to use that Git client today. And basically what a Git client is it's to avoid the command line. You can push, you can sync, you can track remote repos, you can make new branches, you can merge branches, you can format and apply patches. It's just a really easy interface to avoid the command line. All of these same things that I'm going to show you today you can do on the command line, but as a beginner sometimes it's easier to see it all set up in clicky boxes. So. And then there's Dreditor, and Dreditor is, you know, Drupal editor. The only functionality that I know of that Dreditor has is adding buttons in the issue queue. That's the only lifetime it has. So it's a browser extension for Chrome. You download it and you put it on your browser, and then when you open the issue queue, it provides additional buttons that makes reviewing and testing patches a whole lot easier. But like I said, I think if anyone knows of another way to use Dreditor, I'm open to it, but I believe this is its sole purpose. It provides a template when you're creating an issue. You can highlight code changes. Well, it highlights code changes and empty spaces for you so you don't have to find them. It provides a easy interface for making comments on a patch that you're reviewing. And it provides a Simply Test Me, which is Wonderful. You don't have to have a local environment. You just push the Simply Test Me button and it spins up a website for you to test your patch. So this is what a patch looks like without Redditor. Very plain, white. Can't really see any, well, you can't really see anything either because it's blurry, but you can see the one on the right. It's highlighted some code, like the red code is the code that we've taken away and the green code is new code. So it just makes it a little bit easier to see the differences between the differences within the patch. And then again, Redditor will also highlight empty space or blank spaces at the end of lines because those go against coding standards. Without that, you can't see if there's an empty space really on the end of that line. So it's a perfect tool for that. And then it also highlights, I don't know if you can see it on the right, it highlights weird characters like tabs and like word returns because they insert a special character. And when you create an issue in the issue queue, it has a template. You just push on the template. Come on in, sir. It provides a template and some task lists. And then the one on the right is an example of when you highlight code in your patch that you're reviewing, you make a little comment, and then when you hit save, it automatically saves it into the comment box on the issue. So that's nice with the line number. And then Simply Test Me. I love Simply Test Me because I'm not really a coder and I'm not really a developer. So for me to set up a local environment every time I want to test something is a pain. So Simply Test Me is just this interface that you just push a button and it spins up. You can evaluate modules and it adds the dependencies. It supports both Drupal 7 and 8. And then Redditor provides a Simply Test button in the issue queue. So this is what the site looks like when you go to it. You enter the project and the version. You can add additional projects, and then at the bottom you can apply a patch from a URL. So you just push the button. It takes maybe, if your internet connection is slow, maybe 5 minutes. So, and then, like I said, Redditor provides a button for Simply Test Me, and all you do is you push that button, Simply Test comes up, the patch is already selected, and super easy. Okay, so now we're going to go back to the demo. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so we downloaded the repo into our machine. Remember, we went to the project page. We clicked version control. We used the command in the command line to get clone. We put it into a specific folder. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add it to the Git client. So I just open up SmartGet. And each client is a little bit different. I use this one because for Hook 42, it's best practices for us, so this is just one I happen to pick. So each one's going to be a little bit different how you do these things, but they're essentially the same. Good morning. We're reviewing how to create a patch and add it to the issue queue.
Is this hacking?
That's next door. That's all right. So anyway, so I'm going to add the repo just by clicking the repository tab. I'm going to navigate to where my new repo is. It's admin status. I'm going to add it. And that's it. So my repo is now, my Git client is now watching my repo. So I have something that's keeping track of all my changes for me. So I'm going to go back to my issue queue, and I'm going to create the issue. So it's on the project page. We already looked and saw that there wasn't an existing issue, so we're going to create a new one. And right here, there's a create new issue. We're going to have a nice title, and I'm just going to take it from my ticket. And you want it to be clear and short, but specify the problem so the next person who's searching the issue queue, it's in there, you know, so they're not replicating the issue. The project's already delineated. Category, there's a few you can choose from. Let's look at them. Bug report. Was it broken? Did something break? Does something need to be fixed? No, not really. Is it a feature request? Are they asking for something new? No, they're just asking us to improve something. Am I asking for them to support something? No, not really. So I would say this is just a task. We're just doing something new. So we'll click task. I usually leave everything priority normal, but if it's like a huge bug and you think it needs to be fixed and it's a deal breaker, like some sort of security issue, there's, you know, major and minor, but I just always keep it on normal. And then since I am going to be working on it, but it's not up yet, the status is going to be needs work. So we're just going to say needs work. And that's something you change as the issue queue progresses. And the version, I'm working on 8. The component. Now, this one's a little tricky because I am going to be changing some code, but it's documentation. Hi. So this one, you know, we're building an issue for the issue queue. Are you looking to hack or are you wanting to make a patch? Okay. So anyway, this one, you know, just use your best guess what you think you're fixing, because sometimes, like I said, it is pretty ambiguous. Like, I'm going to say documentation because my developers asked me to improve the documentation on the hook help.
AmyJune, what would you use miscellaneous for?
When I don't know what the heck it is.
Okay, it just doesn't.
I've never used it because usually what I do is like either like user interface or documentation or code. So, Jeff, what would you use miscellaneous for?
Yeah, I don't know. I've
Okay.
never used it either.
Okay.
So it's kind of the catch-all.
Yeah.
Right. And then the assign button, the only person you can assign it to is yourself. And since I'm going to make the patch right now, it's obvious I'm just going to. But if you're not going, if you're just reporting the issue, you would just leave that unassigned. But I'm going to assign it to myself. Now, issue tags. This is a great way for doing searches in the issue queue. Like if it's an accessibility issue, you would write ally there. If it's an issue that a beginner can work on, this is a great place to put novice. Because that way a beginner is going through the issue queue and it's like, oh, there's this novice issue I can work on. I don't typically tag, but for the sake of this I'm going to. And I don't typically tag for any specific reason. I just don't. That might not be best practices, so I'm going to try to like be a little bit better about that, you know, moving forward. But so I'm just going to tag it novice, and then I'm going to use this button that Redditor provides for me that inserts a template. And what it does is it has a little bit of HTML in there and asks for the problem, it asks for a solution, it asks for some tasks, it asks about some API stuff. But I already wrote that out, so I'm going to cheat a little bit because it's a demo, and I'm just going to copy and paste what I have in here. Oops. Did I just copy that twice? No. Okay. So there's no parent issue, there's no related issue, and I'm going to click save. So now what happens is Drupal has created a node. This is an issue node. And what's important about this is that last set of numbers on the URL. That is the issue number. And what we're going to do is we're going to base the name of our patch and the name of our branching on that number. So I'm going to copy and paste that. And another thing to know about once you create an issue is what it looks like. See, we used the template and we filled in what our problem was, what we propose. Now the next comment is comment number 2. And this is where someone can go and either upload a patch, make a comment, provide some helpful, useful information. But I just want to be aware that the next comment is comment number 2, because what we're going to do when we create our patch, when you upload it back to Drupal.org, it's going to be the node number and the comment number where you're attaching the patch. So I'm going to assume right now that I'm going to be making the next comment, and it'll be number 2. So my patch number will have the name of the project, what I'm fixing, the node number, and the comment number. So now I'm going to go back to my client, And I'm on the 8.1 branch, and what I want to do is I want to create a new branch to work off of that one. So I'm just going to add a branch, and I'm going to have it be that comment number, or that node number plus my comment number. And I'm going to add the branch and check it out. Okay, so now I'm going to navigate to where my repository is, and I have it in modules and admin status, and I'm just going to drag it into the text editor of my choice, which is Sublime. Sublime is free. It's great. I like Sublime. Lots of people use PHP Storm, or, I like Text Wrangler a lot too. It's a bare bones one. But when I do patches, I like Sublime because it does some code highlighting. And as far as the other really complex IDEs go, I don't need those because I don't do a lot of coding. So Sublime sort of fits my needs a little bit better, and it's it helps with my workflow because some of those heavier IDEs you have to create a project and do all this work, and it's all I want to do is change 2 lines of code. So I think Sublime for me is perfect. Okay, so the changes we want to make are in the .module file. So here's the code. Okay, so this does not look like a whole lot of something to me. Do you know what I mean? So let me show you in Drupal where this is, so we can see what it looks like before and what we're going to do afterward. So I'm going to go and create a Simply Test Me site. And this is easy. You just go to the website, you enter the name of your project, which is admin status. Select your version. I'm going to do 8.1, and I'm going to launch my sandbox. So this is what I use every day. I like using Operative Dev Desktop. I use MAMP when I do client work, but this is just a quick, simple. You don't have to configure anything. It just spins up the site for you. But it takes a couple minutes, so we'll just talk about things for a little while. Did you do the pub crawl last night?
I did not. I played board games.
You played
board games that make people uncomfortable. I would be more than happy to tell you about it.
Let's wait till after the record button gets turned off.
Exactly.
So, okay. So you go through your regular Drupal install. And Simply Test Me fills in all this stuff for you too, so you don't have to figure out what's going to be my username and blah blah. And what's great about this too is it lasts for 24 hours. So say you start working on something the night before, you can go back to this URL and you'll have that same site in the morning. So, but then there's the caveat of it only lasting 24 hours. So. But this is a great way to evaluate modules, if you think your company might want to use it for the project. Okay, we're almost there. Okay, so here we are. We have a Drupal site, and admin status has been added. Not installed, but added to our project. So we've got Drupal core and admin status. So we're going to enable it. So we go to extend. We come on down. And we click that we want to enable admin status. And the part that we're looking at right now, and I'm not sure if everyone knows what Hook Help does, but what Hook Help does is when you navigate to this help page, the modules that contain Hook Help all show up here. And so whatever we put in that code, when we click on our specific module, which ours is admin status, whatever's in that little code snippet we saw shows up in this window. So our developer wants this about part that he thinks is sort of a run-on sentence and that sort of thing. He wants it to say what's on the project page. So pretty easy fix. We're just gonna look at the about section. We're gonna take that section out and add the words from the project page because he says that they're more clear and describe the module a little bit better. So this is what it looks like before. So we have something to test against when we add our patch. And I'm just gonna move it down. Okay, so we're gonna go back to our code. So it looks like it's this section right here that he didn't like. The admin status module displays messages to users with certain permission for important status-related information such as blah blah. So we're going to replace that with the content from the project page, which I may already have. No, okay. Okay, so he wants this in there. So I'm just going to copy this down, copy, go back to my code, and I'm going to highlight the code I don't want. And I'm going to replace it with my new code. Easy as that. And I'm going to hit save. So now, when you go to your Git Client, it added that the file had been modified. And this is really hard to see, but you can scroll down and you can see the lines of code that have been highlighted red are the things that we're taking out, and the green is what we've added to it. Now I'm just going to look at these changes and make sure that that's what I want. Yep. And so I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to commit my changes. Now this commit message in this specific spot, no one will ever see anywhere. But please, best practices, always write a really good commit message. You can do this in the command line, but this interface is just easier. So the way our company works with commit messages is we try to do the ticket number, the project, and the issue, like a quick little, like, what did we do, what problem did we solve? So, no, we did stuff. No, we fixed stuff. You know, that just doesn't work. Even though this doesn't appear anywhere, it's just good best practices. And I already have the commit message written down. It's admin status, and we updated the text hook help to reflect the project page. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to commit it. And now we're going to create the patch. Drupal.org has a whole page on how to create a patch using Get, using the command line. You guys are more than welcome to do that, and honestly, that's what I usually do. But for a beginner, I didn't want people to be scared off using the command line, so that's why we're going to use the Get Client, and it's super easy. So for this one, you open the log, you right-click the commit that you made, and all you have to do is say Format Patch. And that's it. And it saves. I'm going to save it to my desktop. Okay, now remember, we said that when we upload the patch to Drupal.org, how we wanted the naming convention to be was we wanted it to be the name of the module, what we fixed, the node number, and the comment number. So I'm going to change the name. I'm going to say admin status hook help I don't know, but you think that's good enough? Okay. My number, which is my branch number, so it's 2917706 is the node number, and it's the comment number 2. So we've named the patch again, project, what we fixed, node number, comment number. And the last part of the issue, well, no, then I guess the next step of the issue is uploading the patch. So we're back on our issue. We're going down and we're comment number 2, so we know our patch is appropriate. We're going to look at this metadata again. Okay, all this looks good. We're going to change the needs work to needs review since we're uploading a patch, and we're going to unassign ourselves. And I'm going to have a cute little message that says, updated hook help to reflect project page. Patch uploaded. Okay, and we're going to go down. In the next section, issues and summaries, that's something I don't use as a beginner. I'm going to add my file, which is admin status, hook help, and my patch. I'm going to open it. I'm going to upload it. And I'm going to hit save. And that's it. I created a patch. I've identified a problem. I made an issue. I fixed the problem. I made a patch, and I uploaded the patch to Drupal.org. That's the end of my part in this. The next part is someone needs to review the patch, and that's where, like, anyone, this is a real easy step to get involved with too. So I can't RTBC it myself because you shouldn't review your own work. But someone else can come in here, and I'm just going to show you this. You can hit review, and here's the patch. Look at that. That's what I had, and this is what I now put in. So that's what the Redditor did, is it did the code highlighting. It's highlighting the red, that's what we took out, and the green is what we put in. So that looks good to me. And then it provides a simply test button. So what this is going to do is very similar to what we just did. We're going to spin up a site, but it's going to apply the patch. So we're going to launch the sandbox. So now when we enable the admin status module, our patch is going to be on there. And in theory, we're going to see the hook help page display what we just wrote. That's our success criteria. Patch applies smooth, you don't get any errors, and that you see your changes. And some changes you won't see, like say you change like the README, no one sees the README ever. But so like testing that would just be like applying it to make sure it applies. And then some things like some code where it's like coding standards, those changes you wouldn't see either. You know, you would just test to see if the patch applies. In the same process of when you did it before. But like I said, this is so much quicker than setting up a local dev. My favorite thing to do is improve documentation. You know, as a beginner, it's really hard when you go to a project and you read the documentation and it's unclear and you can't understand. It's a perfect way to get involved is to help augment the documentation and like help other people evaluate the project.
So can we install multiple modules with simply test? Or it's
Yes, you can. What you can do is when you first click on that, the first user interface, you put your project name and then there's a space for adding additional modules. So you can do like devel, so you can create some quick content, or admin menu, you know, yeah, so you can do more than one at once. That's a great question. Okay, we're on the final lap. Okay, so it looks like the patch applied. We're going to enable the module down at the bottom of the page. So just a quick thing, this is what it said before, admin status blah blah such as, developer says it's unclear. So now when we go to the hook help and we click on admin status, we see our new changes. So if I was reviewing the patch, I would go in and I'd say patch applied smoothly and anticipated results on the hook help page. And then what you do is you come and you change the metadata. So it says needs review. I would change it to reviewed and tested by the community. That's what that RTBC is. And then that's it. And then what happens is it sits there for a while. The maintainer of the project has to notice it, and we wait for him to either commit it or give some helpful feedback. So I'm inviting all of you, because this is our module, like to go in and review it and hit that RTBC button, and then we'll give each person credit. So now you'll have a credit on your Drupal.org page that says you helped with the project, and as a little incentive of learning how to do this. So that's the basic process. You create an issue, you download the repository on your machine, you find the issue, you find the problem, you enter it into your Git client, you create the patch, you upload the patch, and then someone else reviews it. So giving back is super easy. And I encourage people as a community, when we find typos, if we find user interfaces that don't make sense, if we find grammar problems, because what happens is when we show potential people evaluating the project and clients, those are the things that they see. They don't see the code. So for me, all those little things are just as important as the big ones. We should have, the highest standards for grammar, because like I said, the people evaluating the projects don't even see the code. And it's a great way to get started if you don't know code. So, and I think it's a great way too to build confidence in looking at the code too. It's like the more you open up the issue queue and the more you look at the code repository and the more you see what you can just change strings and do coding standards, that sort of thing. I think it helps build confidence too in giving back to the queue. Are there any questions besides John Wynn?
That's good.
Okay. And like I said, there's all different ways that you can do these things. I just tried to make it really simple as like a broad way of this is how you can get started. You don't have to use a Git client. Command line is really easy when you get used to it. There's a whole page on Drupal.org on how to make a patch using Git. So
can we look at let's say you wanted to help contribute, you wanted to review somebody's stuff. So when you're going in, where are you going in and searching let me find a beginner thing?
Sure, okay. What I do in the morning is I go to my profile because I have my dashboard set up.
Okay.
So in here, I'll show you how to search the issues.
Okay.
So you go in here, and there's a section in here in your contributor links blocks that has the novice issues already pulled out for you. But what you can do too is you can just
Are those based on tags or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So but you can go to the issue queue and you can sort them by things like open issues, priorities, categories. How do I search by tags though, Jeff?
I don't know.
Okay. That's a component. So, but like I said, that's okay.
It looks like,
Just a search box, you can just type in.
Oh, you can just type novice in the search box?
Okay.
Were there two text fields in the search boxes? Is one of them the title of it? One that's
Oh, there you go. So just in the search box, searching for novice will open up those issues. And like I said, just the more you open them and get used to it. And there's also a whole page on Drupal.org if you Google how to start in the issue queue. There's pages of documentations on different things you can do, links to initiatives, how to help at camps and cons, because there's so many ways to help out. But it really does take a village. It takes all of us contributing and helping and doing the best we can to really make the Drupal project work. So, thank you.